You know how it is, you look around and, well, some people just seem to gather wisdom as they go through life. They learn, they evolve.
Mhm.
And then you see others who, for whatever reason, seem stuck, you know, maybe in sadness or anger, never really breaking free. It really makes you wonder about the why.
It absolutely does. And in the material you shared, this dialogue between the little monk and his master, it just nails that basic question. Why do some adults get wise from experiences while others stay trapped?
Yeah,
The little monk even wonders, like, is it about past lives or some divine thing?
right. So for this deep dive, that's basically our mission. Let's explore that question. We'll look at the master's insights and, how they kind of connect with some really interesting psychological ideas.
Yeah.
Think of this as maybe a shortcut to understanding why people grow or don't.
And what's fascinating right away is how the master's observations, um, they almost predict so many concepts psychology dug into later. He talks about facing life's challenges,
Yeah.
right? And how we respond to them. That's the key.
Which, that immediately brings Erikson's stages to mind, doesn't it?
Totally.
The master describes people who navigate those life turning points. They gain wisdom, integrity, versus those who are still tangled up in earlier stuff.
Uh-huh.
Maybe still figuring out who they are, what their purpose is, even deep into adulthood. It's like some adults are still wrestling with things we think of as, teenage issues.
And the key insight there, I think, is that
Mhm.
if those earlier hurdles aren't really dealt with properly, they can just soak up an adult's focus.
Right.
There's just less energy, less capacity for the self-reflection you need to learn from later things. And, well, get wise. They're still working on the basics.
And the master's really clear. It's not falling down, it's get up.
Hmm.
Some people seem locked into their mistakes, while others, even after big setbacks, find a way to learn and move on. There's definitely a resilience thing going on.
Exactly. And this ties in so well with Carol Dweck's work, growth versus fixed mindsets.
Oh.
The master basically describes those who keep growing as believing their abilities, their emotional strength. It's not set in stone. It can be developed. You work at it, learn from challenges.
But the fixed mindset person.
Right. They see failure as like proof of a fundamental limit. So they avoid challenges. They stay in their comfort zone.
Yeah.
Doesn't lead to much growth.
Okay, let's dig a little deeper then. The master also talks about different ways of thinking, almost like Piaget, right?
Uh-huh.
He contrasts that more basic, concrete way of seeing things.
Not black and white.
Yeah, exactly. With a more nuanced, abstract way that allows for deeper thinking. And it seems like that abstract thinking is crucial for really getting our mistakes and grasping bigger ideas like emotions or even spiritual stuff.
And the key takeaway there is, well, that concrete style can really limit someone. They can't easily see beyond the surface, including their own part in a situation.
Right.
Abstract thinking lets you do that vital self-reflection, analyzing why you did something, finding the root cause, learning the lesson.
And then there's the whole emotional piece. The master touches on what Daniel Goleman called emotional intelligence, EQ.
Mm.
He notes how understanding our own feelings and other people's helps us learn from tough times. But low EQ.
Yeah, low EQ can mean more impulsive reactions, right?
Yeah.
You don't process things constructively, maybe repeat the same mistakes.
So how does that EQ develop? The master kind of hints at it through ideas that sound a lot like John Bowlby's attachment theory.
Ah, yes. Early childhood bonds.
Exactly. They form the blueprint for our emotional resilience, how we build relationships later. Secure attachment gives you that foundation for trust, empathy, key EQ stuff.
Whereas insecure attachments, they can lead to difficulties managing emotions, trusting people, maybe feeding into those reactive sort of childlike states the master mentions.
Wow, it's also interconnected. Early bonds shape emotions, which influences thinking, which affects how we handle challenges.
Loving the podcast? Don't miss out. Unlock the full episode with a subscription. Get in touch to subscribe now. Fix your inner world at gmail.com.